Greetings friends and enemies, and welcome back to Art by Flan. Today we have a special collab video. I am collabing with the amazing, wonderful, completely awesome TheJMICreations here on YouTube. If you haven't seen his channel, you should definitely check it out. He is a fantastic artist. He does wonderful things with watercolor, and there's just something I love about his characters, the way he draws people. His faces are just so unique in the way they look that I absolutely adore them. He's part of the, well actually he's the creator of the Artstravaganza collective. If you're not familiar with that, you should definitely check that out. Starting with his channel, he'll have all the links and stuff. But yeah, he's a really amazing artist, and I was so excited when he asked me to do this collab because he's great and I like to work with great artists. So we picked a theme, and that was mythology, and we picked two characters and drew them as different mythological creatures. So I picked one of his characters and drew her as an Amazon, as you can see here, and he took my character Aeolus and drew her as a Gorgon, which I think is really super duper neat. We got a little confused trying to shove too many elements into one collab, but we got it sorted out and it worked out okay. So what you're seeing now is the line art for that I did for his character as an Amazon, and it was a whole lot of fun. His character is actually a Gorgon character, which is funny because he had the drum line. Anyway, she is fantastic. He gave her a little bit of a description of her to me, and she's right up my alley. Like, I was worried this pose here would be a little too actiony for her, but he really seemed to enjoy it. And y'all, I have seen his finished piece and it is amazing. It is so fantastic. He did wonderful things with my line art. I'm pretty sure he printed it out and did it with watercolor, and it looks fantastic. Like, he did such great things with the lighting, and the colors are fantastic, and he added some touches in digitally, and you definitely have to go to his channel to check it out because it is amazing. Like, he has such a way with lighting and colors, and it's fantastic. You definitely have to go check it out. So here you can see the line art he did for me of my character Aeolus, and like I said, he did his piece traditionally, but I'm doing mine digital because I like to do digital art. So this is my character Aeolus as a Gorgon, and I really love how he portrayed her. Like I said, he has really unique faces that I just love a whole lot. So it was a really nice chance to get to work with him and sort of do my color on his line art, because our styles are kind of real different. real different. So it was really interesting to see how we worked together on these two pieces, and the outcome is really great. The one thing I felt bad about was that when I do collab videos, if you've noticed, or collab pieces, especially line art swaps, I don't tend to do backgrounds. Like, I tend to do full body characters for the other person in terms of a line art swap, but I rarely do backgrounds on the pieces. And he sent me this gorgeous line art with this cool ass background, and I didn't give him one, and I felt really bad about it. Like, oh man, I feel like I cheated him out of some line art there, because all I did was, you know, one figure, and he sends me this really cute, amazing, you know, image with this really nice cave background, and I didn't. But he ended up adding one to my line art for him, so I was really glad. Like, he wasn't too upset that it didn't have a background. But I'm just so not great with backgrounds. It's probably one of my major weaknesses as an artist, is backgrounds. Like, if I sit down and put the effort into it, I can usually cobble something together, but I often just don't do it because lazy. I wish I had a better reason than that, but I don't. So I tend to rely on like color blocking and textures and all that other jazz to make stuff sort of stand out. If you've seen any of my recent sketchbook tours, you'll see a lot of color blocking where I may do the piece in like colored pencil or whatever, but the background is usually just a block of color done with marker. And that's where I sort of get repetitive, because a lot of my backgrounds, if you notice, just go back and look at my art as a whole, especially my digital art, you'll see I have a lot of circle backgrounds, just because I don't know, I don't think about it, and I just end up doing circles. So I guess I feel like it brings more emphasis to the characters or whatever. Backgrounds are rarely settings for me, they're just used to bring more attention to the figure, I guess. But we're working on the shading, and this is a rather long clip, even though like the shading was fairly simple. I just put a little extra time in her hair and stuff because, as you can see, JMI mostly does hair in shapes. At least he did on this piece. And so I Sorry, that was my phone. I usually do it in like more bigger shapes and then breaking it down into strands and stuff. Which, by the way he handled the hair I drew on his piece is astounding. Again, you have to go check it out. Like, I feel like his half was way better than mine. But it took me some time to sort them out and break them down into the strands like I normally would. Because like I said, I wanted to really, like try and work with my regular style on his line art just to see what would sort of happen instead of sort of blending my line art. Instead of sort of changing the way I would color to suit his line art, I wanted to see if I could mesh them together, if you know what I mean. And I also think this little snake he did, because she's a Gorgon, so obviously her hair would be snakes, but I think it was really cute that he just put the one little snake on there, and I think it's just so adorable. I just started calling him Snakey. That's a really dumb name for a snake, but I was calling him either Snakey or Noodle, which are really dumb names for snakes, but you know, it's whatever. So I'm just going in and adding a bit of scales to him, and I eventually add them to her tail too, just to sort of let you know that, hey, those are snake parts. And here I'm using shading to add a bit of detail to her headpiece, and just shading in those little beads. He used significantly less beads than I did when I draw pictures of a Euless, but I can't expect everyone to draw all those beads all the time. So here I am working on the background. He told me that it was a cave setting, which obviously, and there was like a river running through it, which you can sort of see in this shot, but you'll get a better tune to it later. Again, I feel bad because sort of with the way I did the lighting and stuff, the shading, the cave sort of gets lost a little bit. Maybe because on one monitor I can see it just fine, but on like my tablet or stuff where it's darker, it's a little harder. But I tried to make it as visible as possible. And then I did a bunch of detail shading on the closer, like stalactites and stalagmites, but then it got less and less as I went back. So taking it into Photoshop now and just changing up the shade colors of the shading so it's not all that blue undertone. And as you can see there, I did the base colors off camera, and her snake part just sort of blends into her body, which I don't know why that particular part stood out to me, but it did. I really enjoyed it. As you can sort of see where I added in the river in the background there when I turn it on, and here I am adjusting the shades on the rocks. The stuff in the distance is a bit darker, as I imagine she's sitting closer towards the front of the cave, and so that it's going to get darker and darker as you go back. And she's just sitting here on these rocks having a nice little chat with her snake friend. And again, it was really, really fun to collab with JMI. You have to go check out his part of the video. His video, I can't talk today. His video with his part of the collab. That's not the best way I could have said it, but that's how I said it. So you'll definitely have to go check it out. I feel like his blows mine out of the water. Like I said, he's got such a good eye for lighting and details like that, and it's just fantastic. You have to go see it. So once you're done watching my mediocre attempt, you need to go check out his. So I'm just putting on the finishing touches here, changing up the highlight colors and adding in some top shades, and you should be shifting into the final piece. If you like what you see, don't forget to click the like button. You can leave a comment down below. You can subscribe, and if you do subscribe or are subscribed, click that little bell and you'll get a notification every time I upload a new video. And also, absolutely do not forget to check out JMI's portion of this collab. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.